Sustainable purchasing. It isn't just a buzzword or a phrase. It's an holistic approach to sensible purchasing, and it's easy. We all consider quality. We all consider price. But what we all need to consider is, what's the hidden cost? What are the social impacts, environmental impacts, economic impacts, and governance requirements? These four elements form the quadruple bottom line, the founding elements of sustainable procurement. Buying sustainably is about realising that every purchasing decision you make has an impact, no matter how small or large. We operate in a responsible society, and we have the ability to make decisions that have a positive or negative effect on our community and on the environment. One of the bedrocks of sustainable procurement is being able to balance the quadruple bottom line in our decision-making process. Look a little further than upfront price. See the bigger picture. Ask some simple questions. Avoid unnecessary consumption and manage demand by asking, do we need this? Are we using this resource correctly? Is this resource just sitting on the shelf for months? Is it okay and even sustainable to stock items when we have space? And do all our teams know it's on the shelf, or are others still buying new? Minimise the environmental impacts over the whole life of the goods by asking, where did this resource come from? What's its impact now? What will its impact be once we've finished with it? Am I looking at the bigger picture? Consider our social responsibility. Does this purchase help or harm my local community? Does it create local jobs? If the product is imported, who makes it? What are the working conditions of the people involved? What's the social impact? Would our community members be happy for us to knowingly support unethical practices in the supply chain? Is this purchase in line with our council's values, policy and guiding principles? Ask yourself, is this value for money over the whole of life of the goods and services rather than just initial costs? Will I need to repair over time, and are costs of repair reasonable? Will this product last? Is it durable? Will it need to be replaced, and when? Is this a short-term or long-term decision? This gives us a starting point to really assess whether this purchasing decision is going to meet the base requirements under the Sustainable Procurement Framework. As you're asking yourself these questions, make sure you're considering the full supply chain, the upstream suppliers of goods and services, and all of the downstream users of the goods and services. Life cycle analysis, often referred to as LCA, is a technique to assess environmental impacts that are associated with all stages of a product or service's life. Depending on the product, this may include raw material extraction, material processing, manufacture, transportation, use, repair maintenance, and disposal or reuse potential. This is a great approach to understanding the whole-of-life costs of what we buy. A good place to start is just to ask your supplier questions that can help you make decisions. Comparing products across their full life cycle. The company may have products with LCA certification. Comparing apples for apples. Thinking about the function that each service or product is performing. Focus on the key sustainability impacts. Ask the suppliers for data related to these key impacts. Be specific about the scope of the data you require and the units in which the data should be supplied. Consider what will happen at the end of the product's life. You can then utilise all the tools and resources at your fingertips to make sure that what might seem like a small purchase has a positive outcome for you, your community, and the planet. So why is sustainable procurement important? Because from little things, big things grow. What might seem like a small purchase can add up when we consider the end-to-end life of a product, or if we consider the collective buying power of councils in New South Wales. This money is public money, so we're accountable for how we spend it. The supply chain and business is competitive. Not everybody plays by the same rules. In Australia, we have minimum standards and requirements for all sorts of things, like safe working conditions, maximum working hours, frequent compulsory breaks, minimum wage, pollution prevention, and environmental protection laws. We're not saying that all products that are Australian-made are the most sustainable, but we do have some basic legal requirements that help you feel assured that you are buying sustainably. Plus, if it's bought and sourced locally, it's a win for the local community, local employment, and minimising pollution in transportation. Don't stress. Making the sustainable choice is easy. There are numerous resources, standards and accreditation certification processes that are available to help you. There are international standards for helping you make a sustainable procurement assessment. There are also Australian standards, but don't forget, the supply chain is often global. ISO 2400 Sustainable Procurement. Credible eco-labels are awarded by impartial third parties based on a series of environmental criteria with the aim of giving consumers visible assurance. You may recognise these. Beware, labelling is tricky because it's mixed up with product marketing. Make sure any eco-claims are supported by independent guidelines, national or international standards, or third-party independent process. Now, armed with your certification knowledge and having considered the demand for the product, social, environmental and economic impacts throughout the journey of the product through the supply chain, you can make the sustainable choice. It's easy. Just balance the quadruple bottom line. Make the sustainable choice.